Okay, and we are live on Facebook as well. How wonderful. So, for the people who are going to join us on Facebook as well, today we are having this very special coach from Hong Kong, Miss Bernice Lee. She is Hong Kong's top coach in neuroscience based leadership. So, for everyone, for everyone who is interested in leadership and not just any kind, the neuroscience based kind of leadership, then we have the expert Bernice Lee here. Hi, Bernice. I'm so happy to have you. And let me tell you, I have been really waiting and looking forward for this interview for a couple of weeks now. I'm so happy that it happened for us.
Yes, yes, same here, same here.
Thank you so much. Let me say hi to everyone who is watching us on Instagram and Facebook. First, let me introduce Bernice to you, this brilliant coach. Bernice is a corporate trainer and a speaker as well, and she has worked with over 3,000 business professionals from 23 countries to improve their careers and businesses. Just to think about that. أحمد السلمي, where is the voice? أول شيء مرحبا, السلام عليكم. Can you hear me, Bernice? Okay.
Yes,
أين الصوت؟ إذن الصوت هنا. السيد أحمد. Okay. هل تسمعني الآن؟ يعني أتمنى أن يكون الصوت الآن أفضل. I hope that the sound is better now. Okay, so I was introducing Bernice. Like I said, she is a very well experienced coach. She has worked with over 3,000 business professionals from all over the world, and she spends most of her time helping business owners and managers to achieve their inspiring business and life goals, including increasing revenues and having a better work and life balance. Isn't she the kind of coach we all dream of working with? Because indeed, Bernice, you are the expert. I mean, we all want to increase our revenues. We all want to achieve this maneuverous life work balance, right? And also I can see that you are also very highly qualified. You hold two Ivy League degrees and a bachelor degree from Yale University. Wow, this is very impressive. Wow. And also a master's degree from Cornell University. So I would like to invite you, please, to tell us more about yourself. We would like to hear from you. We would like to know more about you. Maybe you can tell us where are you from and how did you get into this kind of work, please.
yeah, thanks for asking. Well, right now I'm based in Hong Kong, China, and I've been living here for almost 15 years.
Wow.
But I am originally from Canada. I'm from the west coast of Canada. I was born and raised there. And when I was 18, I moved to the United States for school and for work. Um, as you had just introduced to, now I'm a coach. I work primarily with business professionals. But in a prior life, I was a marketing manager for 3 years in the United States. And then after my graduate education, I was a human resources manager for 7 to 8 years. So that was both in the United States and throughout Asia. I've worked in factories. I've worked with blue collar workers. I've worked with engineers, logistics people, warehouse people. And then when I came to Asia, then I started working with more staff and financial services, like in asset management, venture capitalists, lawyers, marketing people, etc.
Wow, what a diverse experience.
Yeah, I mean, I love people, and it's just really have been very interesting to have worked with people from all walks of life, all types of socioeconomic backgrounds, and I think it makes it easy for me to relate to people from different places and different backgrounds.
That's fantastic.
As it relates to my business. I started my business in 2013, about a year after I gave birth to my son. And so it's really been a real journey.
Yes, I can only imagine. So after spending so many years in the corporate world, what was your turning point? What led you to make this transition to become your own business owner, to become this entrepreneur, or maybe should I say mamapreneur? Then what was your calling?
Yeah, that's such a great question, Lubna. The turning point was when I accepted that I was really unhappy in my corporate job. And that was very hard for me to accept because, you know, I had worked so many years to go to a good university and study hard. And, you know, I was on that path to try and find that better career and get promoted. But by the end, I just felt like my soul was dying every day, despite the fact that I had a great boss, a great team, wonderful coworkers. I mean, they are like family to me. Mm-hmm. And my job was actually not that hard. And I was very well compensated for the work that I did. But despite that, I just felt really, really empty inside. And I just knew that I had to do something else with my life. So that's when I kind of went on that journey, like so many people do, to try and figure out what that next thing is. And I felt very lost for a long time until I realized, okay, at some point I'm going to do my own thing.
Wow, that's fascinating. You know, Bernice, we have interviewed several people now within this initiative, Tell Me Your Success Secrets. And what's amazing, really, is that they all have said the same thing. They have reached a point where they heard their soul calling. First of all, they felt so unhappy or unfulfilled or unsatisfied, whatever. Actually, you are the first one to say that you were well compensated and your business colleagues were good to you. I think you are one of the rare examples of people who are actually happy at their corporate jobs. But still, I mean, it's amazing that all those people who managed to turn their lives around, they listen to their soul's calling. But in your case specifically, I wonder what led you to choose this neuroscience-based leadership. Yeah, and not any other domain. And maybe you can also tell us what is neuroscience based leadership. I mean, it sounds very exciting and sounds very interesting.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. So to answer your first question, which is how I came into neuroscience based coaching. Actually, when I first started my business in 2013, the business was all of trained everyday etiquette.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. Could you please repeat that last sentence again, because the internet was out for a few seconds? Okay. I do hope that the internet connection would not fail us today. Okay, I want to say thank you so much for everyone who is sending us all these hearts. We are waiting for Bernice to come back online. Again, thank you so much for supporting us, and please feel free to share this broadcast. Okay, apparently we have lost Bernice, but maybe she will log back in. So please stay tuned. I promise you we just got to the good part. Okay, so we are waiting for Bernice to log back in. I think her internet connection... okay, so Bernice is here again. I'm going to send her again a request to join me. Hello.
Hi, I'm back.
Hi, you're most welcome. We have been waiting for you to come back. But on
sorry,
Facebook, you are still frozen.
I'm here. Okay.
Yeah, we have been waiting for you. It's fine. It's worth the wait. But I need to let you know that on Facebook, your streaming is still frozen. Okay. So maybe you need aha, welcome back. Thank you so much everyone for still being here with us. Thank you so much for everyone who is sending us hearts, supporting us. Please comment, ask us questions, and feel free to share the streaming. This will be very supportive. Thank you so much. So Bernice, just to take it from where we stopped, I asked you why did you choose the neuroscience-based leadership to become the expert and coach in? And also, what is neuroscience-based leadership in the first place, please?
Okay. So I think it's worthwhile to go back in time a little bit to understand why I chose neuroscience-based coaching.
Yes, please. We are very interested in your story.
When I first started the business in 2013, the original vision was to develop children and teenagers into poised, confident leaders of tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And there's a whole story behind that, but I'll leave that for another day. All you need to know is that I started the business by teaching everyday etiquette. And the reason for doing that was to enable our young people to be ready for the workforce. So a lot of what I was teaching to teenagers, for example, were interviewing skills and how to greet grown-ups, basically, when they go to their first jobs. And I was very passionate about that because I saw many young people interviewing with my company when I was in human resources management who lacked those skills and knowledge. Okay, so within the first 1 year of my business, I actually very quickly expanded my training to include universities, MBA students, and then corporate clients as well. Mm-hmm. And this is where I started to wonder, is there something else that I can learn and contribute to my clients? And the reason is because my adult clients, my corporate clients would say, Bernice, we have managers who are kind of really rude, or they don't treat their employees well. They maybe say things that turn people off, that are quite negative. Will your etiquette training help them? And speaking as a former human resources manager, I had to be very honest. I said, well, yes and no. Etiquette training can raise awareness to people that good manners is important, and that there are certain things that you should do or not do, say or not say in business situations. Mm-hmm. But when we're talking about somebody who is frequently experiencing a bad temper at work and treating their colleagues or their colleagues not very well, it's not because they don't know it's bad manners. I'm sure they know it's bad manners. It's something else below that surface. And I know you work at this level too, that level of thoughts and emotions that are driving that rude behavior. So as a result, that's why I expanded my business to include neuroscience-based leadership. And why did I choose this type of leadership over other types of methodologies? Because I believe in science. I think there's a validity and reliability to that. And by understanding how the human brain works, we can better understand why we behave the way we do, and we can change our habits more readily. So it's highly effective, and I just believe in science.
Thank you so much, Bernice, for sharing that. You have touched upon two things, actually. First of all, something that is very well said, that unfortunately in schools we are not being taught these very important life skills, which are integral part to our lives today. I mean, I believe personally that it's very important to start including like interviewing skills, interpersonal relationship skills into our regular curriculum. So I think with what you are doing, you are right on the money, like they would say. And on the other hand, also, I could not agree more. People who are rude or people who are bullies, they know they are rude. They know they are bullies, but still, they will not stop being rude or being a bully. And exactly like you said, there is always this set of programmings and a group of unconscious beliefs that are driving our behavior and how we interact with co-workers. So I think that's fantastic what you are doing, especially when it comes to leadership. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about how important it is to understand how the human mind works when it comes to leadership, when someone is in a leading position.
Sure, great question. I mean, being a leader, there are so many aspects to it. Let's talk about the first one being self-mastery, right? When you are a leader of other people, they are looking to you to be a role model. Mm-hmm. They're looking to you to set clear direction, to communicate what is required, and to pull people together. So when a leader and a team are going through a very difficult time, it's very important for the leader to have a high level of self-awareness so that they can, for example, manage their own stress. Or a leader needs self-awareness to understand what are his or her own strengths and weaknesses so that they can surround themselves with people who can complement their strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so that's the first area that is so important, self-awareness. And with brain-based coaching, once a leader kind of understands, as you say in your language, right, what are their patterns of behavior, what are their patterns of thinking that are driving their behavior or their decisions, then they can actually be more aware of what really is the best thing to do instead of relying on their default response. So I would say that's the first aspect that's very important, self-awareness. The second is about awareness of other people. So as a leader, your job is to lead, empower, and direct a group of people towards a common goal. And that means understanding people. Now, at the most basic level, right, the thing to understand about the human brain is that we've evolved over these like hundreds and thousands of years to constantly scan our environment for reward or for threat. So back in the old days, you know, when we were cavemen and cavewomen, reward looked like food and water, safe shelter. But in today's modern world, the reward might be that promotion or that salary or that deal that you seal with a new client, or it could just be a positive relationship with a colleague. And then on the other hand, our brains are scanning for threat, and that's to keep us alive, right? So in the old days, threat was that lion over there that could attack you. But now in the work environment, a threat could look like not closing that deal, not making enough money, or that boss who says mean things to you, or the colleague who stabs you in the back and says unfavorable things about you. So our brain is always like scanning, and it's always tagging stimuli as being reward or threat. And once the brain tags something as reward or threat, there's going to be an emotion that's attached to that, and that's going to activate a part of your brain called the limbic system. And this is all like unconscious to us, right? It happens in a split second. So when your coworker comes in with a mean face, right, unhappy face, your brain is going to say, oh, unhappy face could be a threat, and then you're going to have certain feelings about that. Those feelings are probably going to be negative, unproductive feelings. So maybe this coworker has been kind of mean before, so you might have that response of, oh, this person is so annoying, or you could be frustrated and go, oh, I don't want to deal with this person, or you might just want to run away from the person and avoid them completely. So those feelings are very strong. They're going to last a long time. You're going to remember them for probably quite a long time as well. So that's what's important for us to understand in ourselves, is this is all like measurable within the brain. When you put somebody through an fMRI scanner, you can see that part of the brain light up. Now what happens when there's reward, right? If you perceive a reward, you're going to have, happy feelings, you're going to be excited. But what's really interesting is that threat response is going to be much stronger than any reward response you have. So that's like the difference between somebody saying, oh my God, there's like a fire, and you're going to run. But if I told you, oh, you won the lottery, are you going to run as fast towards claiming your winnings compared to running away from the fire? No, right? So why is this relevant? It's because it kind of gives us this understanding of why we behave the way we do. So maybe the people who are on the call right now, you can reflect on your own working condition, and you can think, well, under what circumstances or with who do you have those negative, unproductive feelings where you feel kind of threatened, right? Under what circumstances at work do you feel like kind of happy and safe, okay? And just kind of take note of which one do you remember most? It's probably the negative stuff, right? It's probably the negative emotions. Now, what's really interesting about what happened.
It sounds like we are pre-wired. It's like we are pre-wired to focus on what's negative.
Yes, because it keeps us safe, right?
Exactly.
If we perceive something as a threat, like a snake on the ground, our brain is going to make us jump away from it very quickly to keep us alive. Yeah. And so you've got that absolutely right. Now, interestingly, the impact that it has on our brain for a leader, very important to understand, is that when your brain enters into that threat state, that emotional part of your brain, that limbic system, is activated. And at the same time, because it's taking up so much resources, so much blood, oxygen, etc., glucose, in fact, the really thinking part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex here, which is responsible for executive functions, problem solving, regulation of emotion, the resources go away from that part of the brain. So your thinking part of the brain, responsible for rational thought, is not working at its best. So people on this call might have experienced a time where you were panicked or anxious or angry, and in that moment, you just feel so much of that emotion that you cannot think clearly anymore. It's because that limbic system is activated and your prefrontal cortex is, more quiet, if you will. And so we just can't let those emotions overcome us, especially as leaders, because when people are looking to you for clarity, they're looking to you to be calm. You need to be able to regulate your emotions very well. Now, on the contrasting side, a good leader is going to know how to, dampen that limbic response so that they're thinking part of the brain can be freed up to do that work of thinking clearly and solving problems and communicating clearly, etc. So that's why it's so important for a good leader to understand this is what's happening in your brain and to be aware of that it's happening inside of themselves as well as in other people. So when a leader is communicating bad news to a team, they need to be aware of whether they are putting people in a threat state, and how can they mitigate that for the team. And so, it's very interesting. That means that as a leader, part of your job is to create positive feelings in other people, right? It's to help them mitigate and dampen those negative emotions and have more positive emotions where they feel slightly happy, they feel relaxed, they feel safe, they feel empowered so that they can operate at the best, so that they can think clearly, so that they feel motivated to do their work. And it's through this process that a leader can lead a group of people to high performance.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for this fascinating insight on how understanding how the brain works can make the boss or the manager a better leader. That's fascinating. And but unfortunately, we are almost at the end of our time. So I would like to ask you, who can benefit from your services as a leadership coach? Who should come to you?
Typically the people I work with have two main problems. The first is they, especially if they run a business, the first one is that they're tired, they're stressed out, they're overwhelmed. And on the surface, typically they will say, oh, Bernice, I need help with my time management, or I have too much to do, or I'm not getting enough support from the team, or I'm very confused about everything that I need to do. And that leads to that.
Actually, what you are saying is very, very important, because, the most common complaint is that the workers or the employees will complain about their boss. But I have personally heard so many bosses, leaders, and managers complaining about their team members, that they have been resistant, or they have not been doing their task, or making their life hard. So there are managers and leaders out there who are really good people, who are really working for the best interest of the team and for the company, or for the business. But unfortunately, this time, it's the other way around. This time it's the manager or the leader who is having a hard time because of the team members. So maybe those leaders can come to you, and then you can show them exactly what they need to do to overcome this problem.
Exactly. The second type of person, or the second type of problem I help people solve is usually they're a corporate manager, and they're kind of like I was, feeling unhappy and unfulfilled, and I can help them find out and identify what's really important to them in their life, and we go on a journey together to achieve that. So either I'm taking them to a place where they're, more relaxed, more balanced in their life, more productive in their working life, or they are doing something that they enjoy much more.
That's fantastic. I mean, happiness for everybody, right? Not only for employers, because the focus now in the corporate world is so much on the happiness of the employees. And everyone is looking at the leader, and they think they are automatically happy because they are in this position, or they have achieved a certain status in the company. And little do they know that even leaders and CEOs and board members of big companies, they even feel unhappy, they are stressed, sometimes they are overwhelmed, exactly like you said. So for everyone who is a leader and who is having this kind of emotions that are weathering them down and not letting them perform optimally, then please, by all means, do contact Bernice. She is the expert, and she can help you. Bernice, how can we reach out to you? How can people connect with you? And any last words for us before we conclude?
Yes, I think it's worthwhile to give people a practical. I'll give you 2 practical tips. Yeah,
Please.
If you are feeling tired and stressed out or overwhelmed, the science shows that when you take deep, regular breaths, it will help you calm down from that emotional charge. Okay, so what that means is take 6 breaths, and when you inhale for a count of 4 or 3, and exhale for a count of 8 or 6. So basically your exhalation is twice as long as your inhalation, and that will calm down that limbic part of your brain. Okay, so 6 breaths, that's going to calm you down immediately.
Wow.
The second tip is mindfulness. The practice of mindfulness has been shown to help you with emotional regulation. So go to a local place wherever you are living, find a good mindfulness instructor, and with regular practice, you are definitely going to be able to see better emotional regulation, which means, things don't bother you as easily or as much or as long. And as a result, even when you're under a lot of stress, you can still think clearly and make good decisions and just have better wellness overall. So those are the 2 tips I have for your audience. And as it relates to staying in touch with me, you can find me at www.coachbernice.com. You can also connect with me on Instagram and Facebook at Coach Bernice. And you can find me on LinkedIn as well.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Coach Bernice from Hong Kong. I know it's evening there, so I will not be taking much of your time. Thank you so much for sharing your story, your success secrets, and also for those precious tips, especially the breathing technique, which is like an instant remedy for a stressful situation. I have tried that personally, and I promise you it works. It works. Okay, so we come now to the end of our time together, and of course we will stay connected together. Please, everyone, connect with Bernice on her social media, and thank you so much for being with us. And I guess we'll stay in touch, my friend.
Thank you very much for having me, Lubna.
You are most welcome.
Everybody.
My pleasure. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.